The Triplefour Podcast is brought to you by Anchor FM, the free hosting and distribution platform for you. It's free. Like I said, you can get their app on the application store and record right into the app, send it out to the people, to the masses, add more noise to the great field of just things being communicated digitally, electronically. Really what we need is more people adding clutter to the Akashic records of discourse. Anchor FM, it's free. Get it. Check it out. Thank you for sponsoring the Triplefour Podcast.
Triplefour.
Let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour
Podcast.
Podcast.
He said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason, and then he says Jim Norton.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day. That's not even a big fucking deal.
Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you? We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
You just might get it.
Oh, you get it!
And welcome back to the Triplefour Podcast, episode 35. You're listening to me. My name is Jack Strawberry, and with me, as always, is
Chad Syrup.
Chad Syrup.
And Pinker Williamson.
We got Pinker Williamson with us today. It's been a while since we've had you on, Pinker. What have you been doing the past few weeks?
None of your fucking business.
It's awfully rude.
It's pretty rude for a guy that hasn't been on in a while.
Yeah.
Look, my name's Pinker. That's all I got.
Have you been sick with some kind of virus
What is that supposed to mean?
on your computer? A virus? You know what my favorite
I don't download viruses.
part of the sun, my favorite layer of the sun,
Incandescent gas?
the corona.
Oh.
When everybody's dying off in the future because this deadly virus has become a pandemic and everybody's dying and stuff, we're going to look back to that joke and
These bits are
really like it.
Yeah, these are going to age well.
Oh, yeah. But you know what?
Unlike
I think if the corona comes for all of us and we're all dying,
Fuck it.
yeah, you think I wasn't going to enjoy my time waiting around to get struck? No, I'm going to make some fucking jokes.
That's a good outlook.
Right.
That's yeah.
So go as hard as possible. Treat this serious issue with as much levity as you can. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Pinker. It's always great to see you. Don't like that attitude. But, Mr. Syrup, did you have anything you wanted to bring to the table today?
I have literally brought this piece of paper to the table, yes.
For the folks at home, he just laid down a piece of paper on the actual podcast table.
What
Now.
the fuck is that?
Man, this guy, not a fan so far. I mean, he's been on so many episodes before.
I know.
I look like a kid drew it.
That's really tough to hear.
Is that your diary?
Shit.
Tough crowd.
Look, man.
Anyway, things are crazy right now. I had
That's
something
for
happen this past week.
I'm leaving now.
Okay.
Really was not a fan of that guy. Bottom three Pinkers.
Well,
I'm late for one
this is-
podcast and things happen.
Now that Pinker's gone, look,
Who the fuck was that? I just saw him walk in and then I had to go to the bathroom.
I'm gonna go see if he's okay.
I don't know. He looked like a dickhead when I left. All right, I came back in.
Hey, what's up? Dan here, original host, Triplefour Podcast. We got Josh with us. and another
I mean-
fella that I don't recognize.
Yeah, I was about to ask what both, you and, the guy that came before Dan. I don't.
There's a stranger sitting here.
To be real, I was really uncomfortable.
Oh, hey, I'm Chad Syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Like maple syrup.
Is Chad short for Chadley?
Do you not know? You don't know Pinker?
No.
No one knows pink.
Was that skinny looking fella I saw
Yeah.
walking around?
Yeah, you don't
The way
know.
out?
I mean, he's not. I thought I swore.
Look, Syrup, you need to stand and deliver right now.
Look, he reminds me of that scene in Family Guy where Kate Moss, she twisted to the side. She looked like a piece of paper, a line. Yeah, it's kind of.
You know what I like from Family Guy?
Hey, Peter.
That's it. I like when the Joe character says that. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Pretty good.
Damn you, woman.
Peter, you knocked over my wheelchair.
That's Joe, because he's in a wheelchair.
I've been crawling around for hours.
Peter. Peter.
Peter.
Peter.
Peter.
Peter.
Wait, hey, Chad, where you going?
Wow, he did not like that Family Guy
He did
bit.
not like that one.
Hated it.
Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Oh, hey, Nick.
You want to get on this Family Guy bit?
What are we doing? I got a fucking story for you, Josh. I had probably one of the strangest encounters I have ever had in my entire life. I was at work on Wednesday, and I'm in the lobby of the casino, and I work at the bar in the lobby of the casino,
Yeah.
and 4 or 5 times a day before we open, I get, hey, mistered,
Yeah.
people with questions or wanting something or whatever. And so I'm walking up to the door of the restaurant to go inside to grab something, and some guy hits me with a, hey, buddy. I think nothing of it because this happens so regularly. I'm just kind of like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
And he goes, come here. So I walk over to him. He's sitting on a bench outside, like right in front of the restaurant.
Okay.
And he asks me, how old is name withheld? My boss.
The restaurateur
Yeah, the
of
restaurateur.
Italian descent.
And I said, well, that depends because there's restaurateur 1, 2, and 3. I'm assuming you mean 2 because that's the one that owns this restaurant. I said, I think he's 64 years old. He says, this man starts to... This is how this begins. Again, I think nothing of it. But he starts talking and he does not stop. He just goes in. He says... well, he's a friend of my family, and their family's friends with people in New York, and they know the Hoffas, and they know the name withheld. They know the Hoffas, and they know the guy that held the gun for De Niro in Casino, and I know Joe Pesci, and just it starts like this.
Where did Joe Pesci come from?
He's in Casino.
So apparently this dude is like some. Not even I guess like a mafioso type. He's like a made man, but he's not a made man. It was such a weird way that he told this story because I asked him about it. So he one of the first things he told me was this story about, and all of this sounds insane out of context. Like if you weren't listening to this man himself talk, like me retelling it sounds like a big conspiracy.
Yeah.
But he had such specifics and names and dates, and I can't remember any of the names because it was so much that this dude unloaded on me. But I sat there. I got Forrest Gumped by this man. I wound up on a bench. I stood for like 3 or 4 minutes while he started to get into this story. And then at a certain point, like when he said Joe Pesci, I was like, I'm fucking in. And I sat down on the bench and I listened to this guy talk. I didn't say a word. I listened to this dude talk for like 15 or 20 minutes. And he told me his whole life's fucking story. So from Joe Pesci, we go into, he told me the story about he was in a club in New York where there was a lesbian upstairs, and he went up and he said something wrong to the lesbian that like rubbed her the wrong way, and some guy tried to fight him, and then that guy got whacked. And then he continues to go into this after he told me the story about the club, I said something to him about drugs, and he said, I don't do any of that. I'm a man of the church. I don't cuss. I don't do drugs. I don't believe in violence or any of this. And my whole life, all these things have happened to me, and I never knew why they were happening to me, but I was just chosen. Like he was a made man or something. He said he would go into places and people would speak in code, and like somebody would get whacked or they'd give him free stuff and they'd be like, oh, just don't worry about it. Sorry, that was an accident.
You did it.
You specifically told
I specifically told. So, and then he told me about a specific life event where it was a family occasion and his grandma told him, well, we're passing the torch to you. And he says, well, what does that mean? And she says, ignore it. And then he goes on to tell me about how he's avoided death his whole life, poisonings, bombings, like car bombings.
Okay, like
he said he was chased down on the highway at 100 miles an hour, and some guy ran him off the road and flipped his car, and then that guy died because the mob took him out, and then just all this crazy shit. He told me about what was the fucking one at a certain point. After we get into the whole thing of this like trail of bodies, I asked him, am I going to get whacked talking to you? And he goes, not unless you talk to so-and-so. I was like, what the fuck?
You have to go on a quest now to find
So at this point, he was holding his phone up to his chest during this whole conversation. So at this point, I was like a little sketched out. And
He had a fucking wire.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You only get whacked if you talk to Carlo
this dude,
Cannelloni.
and this is a fraction of the stuff.
Larry
I just
Lasagna.
wrote down everything that I could remember. Like, I remember him telling me about his family coming over on a boat in Italy and Ellis Island and all that. He told me how his first wife was the daughter of the director for the FBI, and she's a judge in Clayton, and how he was being investigated and all this insane shit. So eventually we
like J. Edgar Hoover, like the old
yes.
FBI? Is that what he said? J. Edgar Hoover's daughter?
I don't know. Blackwater. Or not Blackwater.
I'd say, like, is that a
Blackwater.
Blackwater.
I'm sure
I'm
that's
speaking in code
something.
now. I don't know why any of this is happening. Just ignore it. So
what does that mean?
eventually, after he tells me this wild life that he's lived, he tells me that he has $40 million invested in cobalt and that he has a 2,000-acre facility here in St. Louis where he's trying to construct a mining operation or a refinery, and then he wants to build a Tesla factory to build Teslas for Elon Musk. And after he tells me that, he tells me about the state of his health and how he just had a heart attack and the progression of his symptoms, and he tells me that like he had fluid in his sack, his nutsack. I am a stranger that has sat on a bench with this person, and he's telling me all this. And he tells me about how, like, when you have a heart attack, your organs start to shut down and all this, and he's lived this wild life. And basically, at the end of this...
That's your fucking bank statement. Or something.
Straight pay stub.
I wrote this on a pay stub. So he tells me all this, and I am just flabbergasted at the end of this. I don't even know what to say to the dude. So and I stopped. Eventually, after 20 minutes, I told him, hey, man, I could sit here and listen to you talk all day. This is the best story I've ever heard in my life, but I have to go do my job. And I said, I just want to ask you, why are you here? And he said, I'm the only one left. There's no one else. Everyone in my family is dead. I said, no, but why are you here in this building? Because he lived in New York for so many years and had this insane...
Apparently...
If any of this is true, this insane...
A mobster.
I met the Irishman.
That's what I said when he told me this story.
Yeah.
And I said, but why are you here in this building? He just says, I'm just bored. There's nothing left. And
That's not a fucking answer, guy.
I mean...
Why are you literally in this building? Like,
And why are you...
are you gambling? You about to eat some lonies or what?
One of my
some
friends...
bolognas by the
Some
slice.
lonies.
After
Like
that...
a little loney, buy some bologna.
After that, I stood up, I shook his hand, he told me his name, I went inside to get what I went to get, and I came back, and he was fucking gone. I don't think I will ever see that guy again in my life.
He had fluid buildup in his sack. He had to take care of it.
Now, my
Get that
friend,
sack fluid drained.
my friend argued that there are maybe 3 of these people that you will meet in a lifetime, these old millionaires with nobody left. I think this guy was looking to pass on his legacy. This guy wanted to give me $40 million in a cobalt factory for building Teslas for Elon Musk. and I fucking blew it.
Well, this is a guy that tells you about that, and then you go into his car and he puts a finger up your ass.
Also, I don't know if listening to this guy talk, the only thing that had me so messed up was how specific everything was and the names that he had. Because
been reciting it for years.
He didn't seem insane when he was talking.
Yeah.
But at the end of this, I can either only draw two conclusions. One, that this dude is a certified schizophrenic, or everything he told me holds water, and it is the best story I've ever heard in my fucking life.
So he... Okay, question number one. What was he wearing?
Regular street clothes. I want to say jeans. He had on maybe a white shirt with a sweater over it. Like one of those ones that zips up just a little bit from the chest there.
Okay.
And then he was wearing sunglasses on the top of his head. He was looking at me. I was looking into his eyes, but he had the sunglasses like just above his eyes the whole time.
Okay.
So that's
I was wondering, like, because if he has like like a polo and there's like a chain underneath it, and he's got like
he wasn't
nice
dressed like
pants.
a mobster. I told you, he said he was a man of the church.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be in the mob to dress like that. I mean, you can be
Yes, that's true.
An Italian American gentleman and dress like that, Sopranos style.
He had an Italian name. He told me he changed his name whenever he came to. I don't know if he was on the boat. Yeah, after Ellis Island or
yeah,
New
the
York
dude just literally told you the fucking plots of like 4 movies combined. This is he's like, yeah, I was from the town of Corleone, and when they asked me where I came from, I said Corleone, and they said, oh, Vito Corleone. Yeah, no, when Nick told me the story on the phone afterwards, my first thought was, you literally just fucking experienced the movie The Irishman, because that's the framing device of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Is the De Niro is an old man in a in like an elderly old person's home, and he's just trying to tell all these nostalgic stories about being in line with Hoffa and Joe Pesci and shit.
So yeah, you're literally just a part of that.
And at the end, yeah, he's just like dying, and he's like, there's nobody left. He's the only person alive. So it's like the same thing. And I'm just like, what the like the one that you say that always like throws me is like, he says he knew the guy who held the gun for De Niro in Casino. And we're trying to figure out,
that's the other thing is he talking about the act, like the people in the movie, or the real life people that they're supposed to be portraying?
Probably the real life people, the way the story's going.
Yeah.
Like the guy that De Niro plays, the real life guy that De Niro's character is based on.
Yeah.
He knows that guy.
Yeah,
he knows that guy?
Yeah, I think that's it.
But he also knows Joe Pesci.
Yeah. That's also true. So it's like, you don't know by that point when he just says Joe Pesci.
But boy, I'll tell you, little Joe sure can sing.
Oh, he sure can.
He can such a delight.
He is really just a splendor.
Now, I know we've talked about some insane people that you have met on the podcast before.
Well, so Josh and I mentioned on a previous podcast when we went to go see Slaughter Beach Dog.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't tell the story, part of the story, as we were leaving the venue, and were approached by another gentleman of a very rich history, who was very inquisitive.
Oh, yeah, very.
He walked up to us, and it's the classic case of, we were on Del Mar Loop, so we know what's about to go down when somebody starts trying to get our attention. But it's like the moment your eye slips.
Did he big dog you?
No, he was a little bit older. And he was like, excuse me, can I talk? You know, like one of those. And the moment you make eye contact, you have to talk to them. And this guy was like, what was the opener?
I would say first off though, before we even like met him, he was already around a group of other people, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he was really talking. He was just kind of like listening in or something like that. It was fucking weird. And so, yeah, I think his opening line was like, I think it was, I don't know, he was talking, I think it was like a question about one of us. I can't remember.
I think he said, "Are you
line.
from around here?"
I think that sounds
and he said,
right.
and then he said, "Y'all go to school."
Yeah.
because the Del Mar Loop's really close to Wash U.
Yeah.
And so he's like, y'all go to school around here? And we were like, no. And we were like, are you from around here? No. And he goes, have you graduated college? And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's a full interview. And so he's like, and I was like, yep.
I have a job for you.
Yeah, I'm like, yep. And Josh just says, yep.
Yeah.
And he says, where do you go? And I said, Kansas. And he asked Josh, where do you go?
Lindenwood.
And he goes, where the fuck is that?
Oh, I love that. I love that.
What the fuck?
And then he goes, okay, well, you guys look like some, smart gentlemen, some nice guys, And he goes, look, man, I'm former military. I have over 187 confirmed kills. I was a sniper. And I'm thinking like, shit, we're meeting Chris Kyle. We're fucking American Sniper.
Why does it always involve some guy with a gun with you?
I don't know, man. I think there's like an instant drama being injected into any conversation when you start saying some shit like that.
Yeah. He starts and then going just like,
what's your zodiac sign?
Yeah, what's your zodiac sign? And then he was talking about like, so I see you guys have glasses. You nearsighted or farsighted?
Yeah. And I'm like slowly inching away with every new question. Like I'm just about to straight up walk away mid convo with this guy because I'm just like, where's this fucking going? He did eventually ask, do you have any money?
Yeah.
And I said, I genuinely don't have any cash on me, which is always true because I always put my cash in the bank.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, sorry, man, I don't have any cash. And then he's like, okay, but what's your zodiac sign? I'm like,
he said before that like there's an ATM inside. I'm like,
yeah, there's
I'm
an
not.
ATM inside. No,
Redirect.
dog.
It's
no,
just so out of the way, man.
This
And-
is the internet guy at Walmart.
dog. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, you could.
You can't pull away.
Yeah. So that was great. The main point being he has 187 kills, confirmed sniper.
Yeah.
Which is just... Look, I have 187 kills. I held the gun for De Niro.
I know Joe Pesci.
I was at the Copacabana when I saw this lesbian woman who I... Anyway. But the other story that I'm reminded of is when I was in college and Jacob Gasho and I was at his apartment. This is actually before we lived together. But I was at his apartment and we were just hanging out playing guitar, and I think we were playing like the national songs or something and just goofing off, and the window was open. And all of a sudden there was a knock on the door. And Jacob, being the friendly, good-natured gentleman that he is,
It was Joe Pesci.
it was Joe Pesci. And he said, can I sing for you? No, it was this woman, and she had a shitload of bags, which is
bag lady.
It was a bag lady. I mean, it was an instant qualifier. You know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And she had a bunch of bags, and she would not make eye contact with anybody. And she's standing there in the door, and she goes, You guys are really making some beautiful music in here.
Oh, no.
You got lovely voices." And we're fucking goofing off, like going like, fucking trying to be Sinatra or some shit. And yeah, she's like, "You guys you beautiful voices." And Jacob's like, "Oh, thanks." And she's like, "I play violin."
Oh no.
In one of her bags was a fucking violin. She had it all. And she says, "They have a recording studio down at the library, and I go down there and I record sometimes." Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Jacob made his fatal mistake. "Do you want to come in?"
Oh no, dude.
Hey man, you should have had her score a movie.
No. I was so fucking uncomfortable. I was in my head thinking, please don't do this. Like, just let her leave. But Jacob just wants to know about people. He just wants to, like, learn about people's lives and
Naturally
stuff.
inquisitive.
Which is a good quality most of the time, but it's his apartment. And this is a stranger with a bunch of bags and, like, 4 coats on.
And in one of the bags
Was a violin
was a gun.
that had a barrel attached and a trigger. And she started talking about It was like she was describing these things that happened in her life. She gave us like a 10-year wrap up of the past like 10 years of her life. And she was talking about, I was in 4 car crashes in college. The first one, and it just like, it would go on like that. And then she started talking about, living in Lawrence and how she would go to the co-op and she was talking to somebody and that they died a week later. And she's like, I didn't really have a good relationship with my father, and it was exactly 12 p.m. on Christmas Day that I was thinking about him, and turns out he died at that exact moment. And just shit like that. I was like, you're living in an episode of Lost, I guess. And she kept talking about meeting people and then them dying. So the fact that she was in Jacob's apartment talking to us, telling us how she keeps killing people by spiritual means was not comforting. And I really wasn't saying a lot. Like, I was letting Jacob do all the talking, and I was thinking if I just talk, it's going to give her more reason to be in this room right now. And eventually, I was standing... It went from, like, late afternoon to dusk. It was an hour and a half or so of her talking. And
it's just down the road.
Yeah. And it's fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, it was insane. And... I guess there was a light on behind me that would have been reflecting, like, giving me a hair light, And at one point, she just looks up at me and she goes, again, not making eye contact. And she goes, "You have such a great aura."
What the fuck?
And I'm like,
how would she know?
Shit. Really? Like, cool. All right. And I was thinking, you know what? If any other person told me that I had a good aura, I'd be like, you're fucking full of shit. But this woman was so insane that I was kind of thinking, like, maybe she's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was so uncomfortable. And yeah, she basically told us about horrible things for like 90 minutes. And that was kind of like the experience I was picturing when you're telling me about this guy at the casino. So, although it sounds like his story was way more interesting. So Papa John is on this image rehab campaign, and he was on the H3 podcast, which Josh and I listened to for like 30 minutes because after a while it got redundant.
It's just
needed to see what was up.
But it was 20 minutes of them just talking about the conference call,
which that was I think the most interesting
thing
that he needed to address was like, how's he going to justify this thing? So first of all, his thing is he is asserting that he was set up to be ousted as the CEO and image of Papa John's.
This is Papa John.
John Schnatter, Papa John.
John Schnatter is the witch.
Like the movie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Fuck, we don't talk about Robert Eggers.
Well, I don't understand the connection.
Okay. He's being ousted.
Or the witches get ousted?
Go ahead.
One day, maybe I'll understand.
I think I get it. What you mean now? I think I see that. I saw the connection. I think I see it.
I don't feel the need to explain myself.
Good. I don't want to.
Dan,
I don't want to understand.
Okay.
What does Papa have to say about that?
You wouldn't understand Robert Eggers anyway.
Papa John is making the claim that he was intentionally set up to say the N-word on a conference call.
Oh my God.
By the board of directors at Papa John's, and that
they made me do it.
Yeah. Well, he said that it was a racial sensitivity training session. And then he said, Colonel Sanders says it, but still said the word. And when Ethan on H3 asked him, he was like, did you say it? And Papa was like, no, I never said it. But did you say the word? Yeah, I said the word, but because I was saying that Colonel Sanders said it. And like, why would you say it at all? Just say N-word. I don't know. What are you doing, Papa John? What was the point he was trying to make about Colonel Sanders either?
I think this whole bit was like, I didn't say it. But it did,
he kept saying, I never said the word.
Yeah.
But on this call, and it was like, what? But he's like, I think he's doing fairly well just because he's got this meme quality to him. We're talking about him right now.
Hey, any publicity is, You know?
That's what I said too when we were listening to it.
Well, so also apparently his name has been removed from every instance on the Papa John's website. Like they, for real, eliminated him from their thing, even though it was his like company that he started, which is wild. And so he also was trying to make the point that since he had been ousted, much like a witch, he...
Now he gets it.
No, I don't get it. I'm just making fun of the fact that it makes no sense.
Okay, we're going back into that.
Anyway, he is saying that since he has been ousted from the company, that he has noticed a decline in the quality of the pizza. But
this guy's not even in the pizza realm.
No, he kept saying they don't have any pizza experience. He kept saying that. He is like a meme quote generator. They don't have any pizza experience.
They don't have any pizza experience.
He said Day of Reckoning on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. At least like 3 times,
Yeah.
too. It wasn't like just one. He repeated that.
And that also that the franchisees were dropping like flies, like left and right. The franchisees were just walking out the door, and that's the Day of Reckoning. And like that the company is falling apart without him. And he's trying to build this whole story about
They're also
it.
like firing people that had been there like 20 plus years. Like,
Yeah.
Day of Reckoning for them, too.
But they got, fucking Rob Strawberry in there, and he has no pizza experience. Like, it's funny. And also, he has an Instagram account for the first time that he's, like, really going hard on.
Oh, boy. Scarch, can you pull that up real quick? I'd like to see that account.
The Papa John Schnatter.
The real one.
And he just posts these things where it's, like, a lot of them are him with fans. Like, people that come up to him and ask for a picture.
Oh.
Okay.
Papa John, I'm such a big fan.
I love your cheese pizza.
I heard there was a rumor. Josh told me earlier that John Schnatter was going to be on the podcast later.
I certainly hope not. Who knows what he's gonna say?
You might say,
I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it, but
he's looking to say like he fucked the garlic knots before they come to your door or something. Like he's gonna say some crazy shit.
He also,
Thanks, Scarge.
like, Ethan was asking him about, like, do people recognize you a lot in the street or whatever? And he said, in Louisville, where I think Louisville, that's how they say it.
is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to be authentic.
He's not working.
Louisville.
Louisville.
He says that a lot of people they just leave him alone. They're like, oh, there's that pizza guy. Like, as if there's this air of respect, like, that's Papa, dude, don't mess with him.
He's got pizza experience.
He's got pizza experience. Not many people do. According to Papa John.
According to Papa.
So, 444 listeners out there, tweet at Papa John, hashtag
Pizza experience.
pizza experience, hashtag whose
dick is it? Whose dick was it?
Whose pizza was it? So, yeah. Thanks, Scarge, for pulling up that Instagram feed. And if you could do us another favor and hit the theme song for Time for Films. Time for Films. Parasite. Midsommar. Jean-Luc Godard. Robert Eggers sucks. This is the Time for Films theme song. It's over. Woo! Love that. I'm a big fan.
It's great. I love that music. I love that.
Love that. I can't get enough of that sweet music. And I like it a lot when Scarch does the music for the podcast.
Yeah.
So thanks, Scarch.
Definitely.
Thank you, Scart.
Dan, what did you watch this week?
Josh and I yesterday went to the True Falls Film Festival in Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, you went.
Yes. Yes.
It's Sunday. It was Sunday. You
I
worked on
did-
Sunday.
yeah, I know.
I don't know. Nick's looking around as if like we're not his friends. Didn't invite him. You didn't know True Falls.
I just
Film
didn't know that
Festival.
Josh went. That's
Yeah, whatever.
okay.
I mean, you didn't know that I went either until I told you last night. But
Wow.
you're really out of the loop.
Gotta get back in the loop.
You didn't know about the Papa John Instagram account either.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a whole world out there, dude. You got to experience it sometime.
I'm fucking roped.
If you didn't know, the True False Film Festival is probably the most prominent documentary film festival in the country, if not the world. I mean, the only places... It's specifically dedicated to documentaries. I mean, the big festivals, the Sundance, the Toronto, the Tribeca and stuff, that they do show documentaries at those festivals, but this is the most important one that is dedicated to documentaries. And Showtime, HBO, Netflix, all those companies show documentaries there or are viewing them so that they can buy them. So it's a pretty big deal for our little Columbia, Missouri, our humble Midwestern neighbors. And my brother has volunteered at the festival for probably like over a decade now. And so he hooked me up, as he usually does, with the tickets. And it was funny because we only went to one movie, but it was the way that the like lines to get into movies work is very complex. There's a lot of different kinds of passes and different kinds of tickets you can buy, but the kind of pass that my brother had was one of the most elite ones because it's given to him because he is a volunteer and works there. And so he gave us these vouchers that come with that, which is basically like a skip the line voucher. And so me and Josh pretty much skipped like hundreds of people in line. Like, we walked in a different door to the building so that we could get in front of this massive wall of people, and we're just watching as everybody watches us walk right past them. And we got like the best seats in the house.
Yeah.
Were they visibly upset?
I think they were confused, but nobody said anything. If they did, I would have said, it's like right here, bro.
Yeah. We have the ticket.
Yeah. So that was funny. And the film we saw was called Boys State. Boys State is a program created by the American Legion during World War II as a response to the Hitler Youth. It is a civic engagement and leadership training program that exists in 49 of the 50 states, all of them except Hawaii, I believe. At least in the case of, Missouri, Ohio, Texas, and some of the Midwestern states are some of the biggest programs. A lot of them are run by American Legion members, and it is a week-long program that takes place in the summer. In the case of Missouri and Texas, which the film is a documentary about, the Texas Boys State program, they take about 1,000 17-year-old distinguished high school students, and they all get together for a week to basically simulate a mock state government. And it's sort of this socio-political experiment. Everyone is divided into cities. So a city is like 60 kids. They're all assigned randomly one of two political parties, Federalists or Nationalists. Then within their parties, they have to develop a platform, and then they run for office and are elected by their peers, and they pass laws, and it's a phenomenal and very important program. It's historically has been attended by Bill Clinton, Michael Jordan, Cory Booker, like hundreds and hundreds of famous politicians and athletes. And Papa John. I don't think Papa John is. I would be curious to know if Papa John was a Kentucky Boy Stater. But the documentary was about Texas Boys State. And it was a moving experience for me because I have been surrounded by Boys State my entire life. My dad went to Missouri Boys State in 1977 and has not missed a day since. That's what he likes to say. And my brother went in 2004, and he's returned every year, and I went in 2013. I've been back every year to Missouri Boys State. So it's been a huge part of my life, my family, and I have a ton of friends and so many relationships and connections that I've built through this program and the culture and everything. And it's a really But it's it's a really important thing to me and my family and a lot of my friends. And so when I heard about this documentary coming out, I was like, this is surreal, because a real aspect of my life is going to be on the big screen. And not only that, but it won the top documentary prize at Sundance and was purchased by A24 and Apple for like a record amount of money. So it's like not only that, but it was a big deal. So Josh and I went to go see it last night. And I think I was a little concerned at first because I didn't know if this film would reflect poorly or not on the program, because it's a thing about politics and about young men who show leadership qualities, having to figure out how to solve problems together, and especially in a state like Missouri or Texas, the combination of conservative-minded guys who have to work together with liberal guys, especially also because they're 17 years old and they don't really necessarily know who they are.
Politics.
Well, you'd be pretty surprised. I mean, like, right? I mean, like, the kids in this
Ben.
film are really smart.
Specifically, one of the characters, Ben, was really just...
Ben? Did you say Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that...
I spoke a little quickly, but I get what you're saying about that.
No. I mean...
Surprise you politically, but yeah, being as far as forming an identity
Yeah,
at 17 years old is...
Right, and that's what's amazing about the program is this is the catalyst for a lot of these guys to understand how politics really works and how working with other people and who you are and how you contribute to society is.
Yeah.
It's a program that is more... It is a moment of great self-discovery. And what I was so proud of seeing in the film was that really was shown on screen. And I was like really happy because it's something that I experienced with the program and that I see these kids experience every year. And not only that, but the kids in this film are so amazing and funny and smart, and they gave me a lot of hope, I thought. Because that's, like I said, I was concerned if this would reflect poorly on the program. Because if it's like, look at this fucking Stanford prison experiment ass shit where these kids, like have to elect a governor and they do so by these evil means or whatever. Like, because you could imagine that. Like, it's a tribalist thing. That's one of the big parts of the program is the dividing into nationalists and federalists causes this thing to happen in these kids to be like, fuck the federalists, nationalists have to win. And it kind of shows you like, this is what fucking real life is like.
How is the organization as far as diversity?
So that's another part of the film that's kind of interesting because in Texas it was a predominantly white,
right?
As it is in Missouri too. My experience, I thought it was interesting because at least when I was going through the program, I noticed that there were these kids who were from small Missouri towns who had never met an African American person before, essentially. And through this program, not only did they meet those people and learn about them, but they had to learn to work with them. And they came to like get a more worldly view, understand the problems that other people have, which like it's a lot like college. What
about Latino, Asian?
The like main character of the Boy State documentary in Texas is a Latino kid.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And in Missouri, I mean, it's all over the place, just like minorities are the minority, obviously, but there's representation from all the groups that you'd expect in Missouri. But, Missouri is an interesting place because it has Kansas City, St. Louis, Columbia, Springfield, like urban centers, and then, colliding with the kids from Sedalia and all those rural places. It's just a really interesting experiment, and I thought this film really reflected it so well. And it was really meaningful, really significant film experience for me, and I'm really excited for other people to see it and know what I get to.
You said A24. Do you think it's going to be on? It'll be on Prime.
Well, so the director Skyped in for a Q&A after the film, and he said that it would have a theatrical release in June, most likely, but since Apple was also one of the people purchasing since they have Apple Plus streaming. It probably won't be on Amazon. If not, not immediately. I don't know if it will be streaming in June or not. He kind of seemed like they don't know yet.
Okay.
But it'll eventually be streaming.
Anywhere from like probably June to like fall is kind of what he said.
Yeah.
But he kind of did that behind his, like underneath his breath.
But yeah, that was awesome for me. Do you have anything to add to that, Josh?
I always I appreciate it. I appreciate the the point of view of kids and understanding now, like, because most of these kids are getting their information from news media and like with the Q&A, the editor who showed up after the movie and did the Q&A as well. It's like these kids are mostly on their parents. Their parents usually teach you about politics stuff, and news media is like basically the main two things you usually have as a kid. So usually I think when people go, when you see the transformation of kids' opinions and their own viewpoints as the movie progresses, it's really an understanding, and actually, it's a very hopeful portion of you that it's you're hopeful, your hope just keeps growing throughout the film. It keeps, you get to understand, these kids are definitely smart, way smarter than some may think. Like there's one Robert. He's kind of like more of the class act, just like kind of a clown, but he's like also kind of a football star kind of kid. Yeah, but
he has like what I think is one of the more visible. Evolutions. Yeah.
And you definitely notice that in him, and you definitely see that like his conservative-esque opinions don't really, they start to shift.
Yeah.
And sometimes he questions himself morally. And it's something that's really neat to see, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I think this program and the movie itself really highlights really a great thing as we have more kids be involved in politics.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is everybody believes or perceives young people to not care.
Yeah.
And it's this is such a great, incredible example of not only do they care, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And these main characters, these 4 or 5 guys in this film in particular, you're kind of I don't know if I want this kid to be leading our country. And then you see the other guy and you're like, oh man, I really hope he succeeds, and you just the crowd for this movie was into it.
Yeah.
That was
really into it.
Yeah, that was something else I really liked, because I mean that's something you love about a film festival, and not only that, but seeing it in that huge theater.
Yeah.
People were cheering, clapping, laughing. There were a couple times where people cheered and I was like, all right, fucking
stop.
Yeah. Let's not.
There's a woman in front of us that kind of did that a few times, all right, come on, we get it.
Well, one of the kids would say something like, I don't believe in this. I don't or saying something about gun rights or something, and then it would be, and then somebody would go woo, and it's just all right, just let the movie play.
Yeah.
It was
woo. But I think on a even more of a scale, I think it's if kids watch this, it's really it's really showcasing to them this is an opportunity for you to understand others. You don't. There's a much wider spectrum out there for you. Yeah. Instead of just being echo chambered into your own home, this is an opportunity for you to actually grow yourself. You don't have to be into politics. You could just not be into politics and still be in this program. I'm guessing they might not choose you. That's how I felt. They might not choose you. I mean, in the case of Texas.
Yeah.
But I think for anybody, I think it's a really good viewpoint on just culture, because this is where a clash of culture, or just I guess not clash, but a blend of culture and a blend of mindsets meet itself.
I remember this stupid article that came out after Trump was elected, and it said man, music's gonna get so good now. Yeah. And it was all about how whatever the artistic reaction to the political climate.
Yeah.
And I have felt, and it's exemplified by my things are crazy right now routine, that I have not experienced or seen a film or an album or a painting or anything that has really spoke truth to me about where we're at and how we deal with it or anything. This was a really cathartic, hopeful thing, I thought. There was, even Cyborg is kind of about how we deal with political discourse.
Yeah.
And I felt that the Boy State documentary really gave me some hope for the future.
Yeah.
Which I was glad to see. So Nick has some films he would like to talk about.
Time for films.
One or two.
It is time. And it has been time, and it's going to continue being time.
For a long time.
That's all the time we have.
Thank you.
Anyway,
and good night.
we'll see you next week. So I did watch one. Was that last night? I logged that last night.
I think so.
Yeah, that was last night.
Why don't you give out your letterbox profile?
Watch a. I will, and I will read what I wrote because, I felt strongly. Watch a little film. I thought it was way older than it is. I didn't realize it was from last year. It's called Greener Grass. And it easily, I know you have said in the past that you cannot determine that something is one of your favorite films on a first viewing.
Yeah.
Hands down. This movie is fucking awesome. I loved everything about it. So what I had written down was, after I finished the movie, I wrote, Greener Grass is Adult Swim's unedited footage of a bear stylized on a level of a Wes Anderson film, doused in the humor of David Wayne and Michael Showalter, and scored by John Carpenter. I am absolutely smitten.
You posting cringe, bro?
This is a must-see. This is my first, actual review that I've written, too, by the way. It wasn't like, I fucking... This is a real review.
Those are
strong words.
Lofty words.
Yes, I understand that. This is a lofty movie. And I can tell you right now, you are going to love it.
See, I watched the first 10 minutes, but I think I was a little too inebriated at one point. So I said, I don't think I can handle this right now. I will come back to it.
It is.
I hardly remember it, but I am skeptical. I don't think that it's I think when it comes to surrealism or absurdism or something, which are things I am interested in.
It's definitely it is a surrealism versus absurdism kind of thing. There is a lot of both.
About suburbanite culture, right?
It's basically a satire of upper wealthy white suburban living. And you have these super surreal situations, but then sprinkled in with the absurdism, which is the humor part. But there's also horror elements, and the score is a big part of that. The way that they do the framing and where they place the music, it almost gives it a little bit of a horror feel to it.
The idea of absurdist satire of suburban culture is something I feel familiar with, especially because I wrote my final thesis in film school about it. So I am interested and curious to watch it, but I am almost certain I will not feel as strongly as you. But that's fine.
Probably
that's
not.
allowed.
I don't know that you ever do.
Right. But because I hate everything.
We say that Dan only likes about 20% of all things.
That's what my sister says. She does. Except for the Boy State documentary, which, as you said, it's hard. As you mentioned, I always say that it's I'm never going to call something a favorite film until I've seen it a couple times. But I felt like there's no way for me to avoid the Boy State documentary not being an important film to me because it's it was fucking surreal to watch. I was seeing things that I actually experience every year on screen. That was something I've never encountered before. Anyway,
as far as the absurdism in Greener Grass goes, there's a lot of these surreal things, these weird things happen, and then it's just never mentioned or explained. It just happens, and everybody just kind of goes about their business. That was one of the things that I liked about it, but
I'm gonna watch it.
Dan's gonna watch it.
If I have time, yeah.
Which means I've done my job.
I can watch it too.
Josh has a lot of catching up to do.
Josh,
look, I'm pretty sure the fucking bucket's full of how much shit I have to watch.
You know what? I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay. That's pretty unusual for Dan to just kind of walk out on the podcast. I mean,
Let's hate the
normally
podcast now.
he gives like closing thoughts on. It's usually, we can't really like end an episode.
Who
without
the
Dan.
fuck's
He is
in
the
my
host.
house?
I think
Just do it.
excuse me?
Bump.
No, I'm sick. I got the corona.
Coronas?
Who the fuck is this? Josh, who is this?
I don't know. Are we allowed to guess?
Name's Vito Sausage Link Jr.
Vito Sausage Link.
Sausage Link Jr.
Any?
Is that 3?
That is one word.
Vito Sausage Link Jr.
No, Vito is my first name.
Sausage Link is one word.
Sausage Link Jr.
Sausage Link Jr.
Huh.
is my last name.
Okay.
I think I know what he makes.
Vito, how...
I got an email.
It's baloney.
Told me to show up around here.
Oh. Around here?
Well, not here,
The
just
neighborhood.
around here. You be walking around the house for a
Pretty
little bit.
specific.
They gave me an
Location.
address. I'm here.
Just kind of.
Was it one of you?
How long?
Email?
How long were you looking around here before you found here?
12 or 17 minutes.
That's a really weird specific time frame, but all right.
Specific. It's pretty specific. Well, Vito,
Okay.
I guess welcome to the podcast.
Did you?
What's a podcast?
He doesn't even know where he is right now.
What do you think?
No, I don't know what a fucking
What do you
podcast
fucking do with
is.
this?
He's
He's
already-
got
it was
like a
coronavirus.
radio
What the
show.
fuck is he
Don't
doing here? He's got
mention the podcast.
coronavirus, Josh.
Look, it's already. Stop that,
Look, it's Dan's microphone. Okay,
Vito. Stop that.
We can disinfect it later, or not.
No, we can't disinfect ourselves
Well, we're on the
unless
other.
we live in a bubble.
We'll just leave. Let him stay over there.
Hey, don't touch Vito. Don't touch that.
Oh no.
Vito, don't touch that.
Oh gee. Oh.
Vito found the gun.
Vito has a gun.
I'm holding this for someone. Robert De Niro.
Oh.
You ever seen that
Oh.
movie he did?
Shit, I shouldn't have told that story earlier.
Oh,
Casino?
They found me.
yeah, it's a casino.
Josh, I gotta go.
Yeah, I know it. Well,
Casino 2.
Kinda,
I'm writing the screenplay.
well, Nick already dipped, so it's just me now. Don't do this, Vito.
I like to hold the gun loaded. It reminds me that I'm alive.
Yeah, the hammer's back, so it seems like he might not be alive much longer after this.
I'm gonna do a trick with it.
Okay, no, Vito, no. Okay, well, you just hit the table with it.
What happens if I...
Vito. Okay, well, it's gone. Oh, no, we found it. You just fucking shot the room.
It's fine.
I can't even hear right
Is
now.
everybody safe?
What?
Everybody okay?
What?
How's your hearing? I knew a blind man once.
Hey, what's going on?
Did you not hear that?
What?
What?
Who?
What?
Somebody, not me, fired a gun.
I gotta go. My fucking hearing is gone because Vito shot the room.
I didn't...
I don't know who. I
Hey,
have no
we're
idea
being
what's going on right
recorded, I think, so you shouldn't say some things about me that aren't true.
What?
now. I was gone for like 50 minutes, so I don't even know what.
Who are you, sir?
Chad Syrup.
Oh, of the Vermont syrups.
Oh, it's pronounced syrup.
Yeah, but syrup, your family, plural, is the syrups.
I'm back.
You're just doing like a thing with the P.
It's
noise?
that's how it's pronounced. It's syrup.
What the fuck
There's
is
two
this?
P's.
S.
What the fuck is this?
Pinkerton or Pinker?
Yeah, I'm back.
Pinker.
Yeah, you just call me Pinkerton?
I
My
What
favorite
the
album.
fuck is that? Who the hell is that?
That's like my favorite fucking album.
Is that a cartoon character you met on the street?
It's good. No, it's good that you're here because we were both gone for a while, and then I'm back now. I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck this is.
I don't even know the fuck you are. You kind of showed up here one day too. I don't know that.
Yeah, well, I'm Chad Syrup.
Well, no, I know your name, but I don't know you. I kind of, I don't know, man. Fuck, all this shit happening. They got this dude. Look like he
Look,
just
Look,
Strolled up out of
I
the
think it's time we had to sit
deli
down.
market.
We need to have a sit
Look,
down.
Pinker, I know you feel pretty strongly, but I just realized this guy's got a gun.
I'm holding it for someone.
Yeah, he's not. He's just holding it. I don't care.
Maybe we should listen to him.
I don't care.
I knew Hoffa. The union, the Teamsters. Hello, James Hoffa.
I don't understand a word this
I
guy's
still.
saying.
I still don't care.
God.
It's just so.
Better fucking listen to
How-
me right now.
Okay.
There's
Wait,
a
what am I
film.
gonna do? Cause you're gonna shoot me.
I'll be taking my leave now.
Jesus. How'd I can't? This isn't even a podcast anymore. I'm the only one left. I guess
I'm
I gotta.
back. Whoa, Pinker, are you okay?
They shot Pinker. Some guy came in. Some guy.
Oh, he's alive still.
Vito Sausage Link Jr. just came out of nowhere and shot Pinker.
He's.
I mean, I'm not gonna
Are
lie
you
to you.
okay?
It's not like it's gonna be a great loss or anything.
Yeah, no, I never liked him, but
We should probably still do something, right?
he's gonna be. He looks fine. Oh, he's not doing all right. Yeah, it's bad.
Okay. Look, I've never really been in this position before.
Shit, should we? Is there a 3-digit number that we can call?
I gotta. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of leaning towards doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's in a lot of pain.
I don't think he's got that.
What if
I don't think he has that long anyway. Even
What
if
if
we
I-
called someone.
I was thinking, what if we put him out of his misery?
That seems like a.
Somebody, wait, there's
seems
something
like
on the
a more
ground
valid
here.
option.
There's a gun laying right here.
Oh. I think Sausage Link Jr. dropped that on his way out.
Well, if it's his, then it can't be traced back to me.
That's true.
Let's stand aside.
I got killed by a fucking sausage leg.
I'm sorry, boy. We decided it's time.
Not again.
Fuck you. Is he good? Is he dead? Oh, he's still there. Fuck. What is wrong with this gun?
Shoot him again.
Alright, let's get another one in. He looks dead. I think we got him, finally. Oh, he's dead, finally.
Jeez. That was a lot.
Yeah. Took an awful lot. Oh,
my
no, man.
God.
Shit.
This guy's tough.
Oh. Okay, I think he died. I think he's done.
One more time for good measure.
Yeah, well, triple tap. He's definitely dead
He's
now.
got-
There's no way he's not.
Yeah. That was wild.
That was... Honestly, I don't feel an
You just
inch
killed the
of
guy.
guilt. Yeah, well,
Well,
I
technically.
don't feel I don't even feel an iota of regret about
one
that.
iota. You don't feel one iota of.
Who's Juan Iota? I'm his Josh. Wait.
Well,
Who the hell's in my fucking chair?
Oh, Josh.
Who's that?
yeah.
Oh.
Why'd you shoot him like 4
I
times?
didn't shoot anyone. There was a guy named Sausage Link in here, and
Yeah, sausage. Yeah, Vito. Yeah.
Sausage Link Jr.
Yeah, Vito. Where's he at now?
Sausage Link Jr. was in here, and he shot this gentleman here like
Who's
4
this?
times. I think that's Pinkerton. It's Weezer's Pinkerton, something like that.
Fucking who
Pinkerton?
cares?
Yeah.
Well, he's in my chair. I can't. What do you want me to
Yeah,
do?
He's
tell you
moving.
what.
Now
All right.
it's
You
my
know what?
issue. Now
I
it's
feel
my
like
issue.
I've overstayed my welcome. I'll go ahead and get this body out of here. I'll do that as a favor
Yes.
for
Thank
you
you,
guys.
Chad.
I didn't even know this guy about.
I like this Chad fella. He's really helping out. Thank you.
Why is Pinker so skinny?
Guys, don't tell anyone.
Pinker or Pinkerton? I don't.
We'll blame it on Vito.
I've heard Pinker. I've heard Pinkerton. Who's? Whatever. Dude looked like a fucking piece of paper anyway.
It's a real piece of paper looking motherfucker.
Straight white as print. That was all wet.
You know
I'm
what?
having a nice think right now in this blood-soaked chair.
Yeah.
I'm coming to realize I don't know what the hell. I don't know what's going on right now.
That's one of my favorite Italian horror movies. The blood-soaked chair.
The blood-soaked chair.
Yeah. You know.
Why?
You know what the famous line from that movie is?
I have one blood-soaked chair, and I'm gonna sit in it.
I don't like sitting in this blood-soaked chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My underwear is gonna be fucking soaked, and
You're fucked.
What? Whose fault is it? Because one of you,
There was a
Chad
sausage
was here.
link.
He seemed like he was having a fantastic time.
There's this fucking sausage-looking motherfucker.
Yeah, at Vito. Yeah, Vito Sausage League Jr.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, Nick.
I'm still trying to get the bottom of this. My
Let's
hearing's
get-
still
wait,
messed
wait.
up too.
Where'd Vito Sausage Link Jr. go?
Oh, he just shot some dude like 4 times and dipped.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so Vito
What
did
it
it. Okay.
did? Who'd he shoot?
This guy named Pinkerton.
BF Pinkerton or something.
Pinkerton, whatever.
How did I miss that? I never see any action on this fucking podcast.
Oh, yeah, they should be glad.
The
'cause your
one time a
security's
guy
fine.
died. Okay, well there was that other time, but the one time that
A
a guy
lot of people die in
dies-
this studio.
Yeah.
When you like really go back to the episodes, a lot of people.
Okay, but
die.
I've
have
never
a
seen anybody
casualty
actually
rate.
die on site.
That was probably the most violent one. But there's been several heart attacks. Tom Waits,
Yeah.
Martin Silver,
Well,
he died.
Martin, yeah,
I miss him.
I know. Martin Silver. You know, since they resurrected me, we could try to.
Kill you again?
Maybe
No,
next week.
Oh,
No.
why?
We,
What
well,
do you think?
I mean,
We're gonna
I
invite
know
my
someone.
family to a second funeral.
Nick, I know someone who can make this happen. We can make sure Josh dies.
Is it? Oh, I thought you meant you knew someone.
It's Vito, isn't it?
It's a me, Vito Sausage Link Jr.
Josh, look out!
He's fucking back.
Josh, no! No!
Well, Triplefour listeners, it's time to reveal there was no Vito. It was me. The whole time. Jack Strawberry. I killed the Triplefour cast members. Except Dan, I let him go. So, I just wanted to say thank you to Anchor FM for sponsoring this podcast. And we'll see you next week.